Travis Wayne Goodsell. I was supposed to be interviewed today, but I botched it. So this didn't get up there. But I am instead having to once again stand up for Joseph Smith against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For the past going on 5 years now. It wasn't too long ago I thought that I was saying 4 years. I have been doing a whole bunch of videos, and part of it is to correct the record that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has lied to us as members. And we're technically not members, we're chattel, because tithing is forced. It is not a membership fee, it is not a donation. The church, on their church news and on the front page of their website, are pushing this little kid, Spencer W. McBride, who's now the church historian. He's not even old enough to know the penalties for lying and covering up and other violations of God's law. He's not even qualified, other than he's a kiss-up. He says whatever the church wants him to say. And apparently they've got him doing a podcast. He's already lied to you about the first vision. I've given you the true information about the first vision. He's done one on priesthood restoration. I've already given you the correct information on priesthood restoration. Several, actually. Past 5 years now, right? And so now he's doing the big lie about Joseph and the Nauvoo temple. When was the Nauvoo temple built, Mormons? When was it dedicated? What, you don't know? You assume the church is telling you the truth? That this little boy Spencer is telling you the truth and has all knowledge on the subject? From the Wikipedia page, it was dedicated May 1st, 1846. When did Joseph Smith die? Oh, right, the church never has a remembrance for that day. They're more focused on Brigham Young and his conquering of the territory from the native and indigenous people, with a yearly parade where police officers are involved. Yes, 1844, 2 years earlier. And so listen to little Spencer McBride. The Nauvoo temple is absolutely essential to understanding Joseph Smith's doctrinal teachings and how to understand the restoration. Man, you guys even reporting on the church? You are complicit if you do not report the church for the tithing scam. It's called a protection racket. You are aiding and abetting by not reporting. That goes for all of you, not just Mormons, non-Mormons, ex-Mormons, all of you. If you're not a Mormon and the missionaries come knocking on your door, they're trying to recruit you and pay money to the church. That's a crime. Report them. Because it was this Nauvoo temple where that all began. Under Brigham Young. He was forcing Mormons. They even added a... Oh, God. It's not Moroni, it's Nephi. So yeah, I'm pissed at the church. They tried to have me assassinated. As you can see, I'm still alive. They failed. It's Brigham Young who added the inverted pentagrams. Brigham Young was a part of the Scottish Rites Freemasonry that before 1826 had been infiltrated by the Illuminati in America. This is not a conspiracy theory as incorrectly defined currently. This is a real conspiracy threat to the United States of America. And I've been doing those videos for you. Joseph Smith's temple rituals were only washing and anointing and eternal marriage for monogamous couples. Only. It's very frustrating that ex-Mormons still do not get that. Refuse to get it. You are supporting the current church when you blame Joseph. The church's founder is Brigham Young, not Joseph. Brigham Young changed everything. We have been conned big time. It was in January 1846 when Brigham Young had Heber C. Kimball anoint him king. Anti-government. Why they fled the country and came to this valley. The United States expanded and caught up to them and tore their organization down for their tithing crimes. Called the second anointing, as we understand it today. I did the video where I read it to you. And so the temple was already built in January. The members of the church were expecting it to be dedicated on the 6th of April, 1846. That day came and went, and there were a number of Mormons pissed. Alpheus Cutler, for one, said, no, this ain't right. Do you understand the significance of May 1st? It's the anniversary of the Illuminati. Like I said, Brigham Young was a part of the Illuminati. He put the sign of the Illuminati on that temple. He put that sign on the Salt Lake Temple, which Nelson has now told us that's now the Zion Temple. We're not going to Missouri or Southern Illinois, where Joseph said we were going to go instead. And so, yes, polygamous marriages were done in the Nauvoo Temple. They had been secretly doing it behind Joseph's back, all during their time. Both Brigham and Heber joined in 1832 after the church was unable to heal Brigham Young's wife. He wanted revenge. And Heber, if you look at his Masonic section in his Wikipedia page, reveals that he knew who was responsible for destroying his temples in 1826. Can you guess who it is? It doesn't say, but I'll give you a hint again if you haven't seen those videos. Check under Wikipedia, Joseph Smith Sr. Where was he a master mason? And then refer back to Heber C. Kimball and what he's making a claim to. They give us the clues, but don't connect them together. It requires actual research and investigation. I'm the one who did it. And so the first thing Brigham Young did after the death of Joseph was to add the little passion play, the creation and garden stories. It was Brigham Young who eventually added the Mormon magic underwear. Not Joseph. So all of those temple covenant paths, all Brigham. Joseph only had washings, anointings, and sealings to monogamous couples. Brigham and Heber had to constantly have the Danites get Joseph in trouble with the law so that they could marry other women. In other words, commit adultery, while Joseph Smith was locked up, framed so that Brigham Young could run the church, and eventually had to have him murdered. Brigham and Heber paid members of the Warsaw Lodge to do the job, but made sure to have John Taylor and Willard Richards planted in the jail. And sure enough, they were needed. As Joseph Smith chased out the mob with the 6-shooter, had 3 balls left, heard the single shot go off back in the room. Saw his brother Hiram on the ground. Saw John Taylor over his dead body. Joseph Smith shot from that distance at John Taylor, hitting him 3 times, 1 time in the watch. John Taylor ran under the bed like a coward. Joseph then went to his brother's body, and Willard Richards snuck out from behind the corner, came from behind and shot Joseph in the back, and then dumped his body out the window to the well. Like I said, this is not Joseph's organization. Brigham Young is the founder. But in 1923, Heber J. Grant, not being allowed to restore Brigham Young's organization, decided to become evangelical Mormon, go all in on Jesus. Again, I refer you to the first vision. Read it. Don't listen to little boy Spencer. Read it. Get out your dictionaries if you need to. You aren't going to find Jesus listed. Instead, you're going to find out that personage calls Jesus an abomination. That was the very first creed of Christianity, the founder of which was Constantine. So yes, the church pisses me off. Joseph Smith warned us of the coronavirus, for 2020 even. I've gone over that with you. Hundreds of my subscribers are dead from the virus. And many of you are still not listening. It's not gone. It's worse than last year. So why is the church still open? It's because they're the great and abominable church. They're Babylon the whore. That's why. Priesthood was not restored in Nauvoo. It was restored in the Kirtland Temple. I was in the interview going to be discussing apocalyptic literature. And in apocalyptic literature, you have a messianic hero, a Christ, given different names. Samson is a messianic hero. Yes, that's apocalyptic literature too. You have destruction that is foretold first by angelic or messengers, and then you have supernatural acts that are involved. That's the basic structure of apocalyptic literature. So let's go over Joseph Smith's history, the first vision, and Nephi. Oh, what do you know? Joseph Smith is the messianic hero. It even says so. You have destruction foretold. Nephi, the scriptures, it's about the destruction of the latter days. angelic messengers and supernatural events, floating in the air, pillar of light from outer space. Joseph Smith's history is apocalyptic literature. It's not real history. So, yeah, that pushed me over the edge. The church just goes on its merry old way, just lying and getting other Mormons to lie for them. Little kid has no clue what was in Brigham Young's temple. There was a penalty attached to a covenant to destroy America. Gee, we don't have that anymore, sort of. Nelson called out Mormons to arms to protect the church. In the coming days ahead, perils. Oh. It is your duty to whistleblow. Even if you've left the church, you were a part of it. You are still a whistleblower. It is your duty to report. It is a crime to be extorted to pay tithing, especially when you were little kids, especially if you were on government assistance. The FLDS church got taken down for SNAP fraud violations. So if you're on Social Security, whether for a disability, unemployment, or retirement, or veterans, any kind of government assistance, and you're being asked to give it to the church, that's a crime. Report it. If you're approached by missionaries who want to recruit you, report them. They represent the church. Report the church using those missionaries. Church cannot fall if nobody reports on them for crimes. We have lost too many in this latter-day war. We have too many Mormons who keep escalating and spreading the virus because they're following the living prophet. And one final crime that YouTube was ordered by the church to have my channel shut down for on TWG. Sex trafficking and sex slavery. Polygamy is a crime. Women were property back then. They did not have rights. They weren't allowed to vote. They were the property of their husband, like a dependent child. And so, to extort them into polygamous marriages is sex slavery, and then transporting them out of the country is sex slave trafficking. It is not religious freedom. It's still in the sealing wording that Brigham Young wrote. Give yourself to your husband. As he receives you. What does it take for you to stop being criminal, to stop aiding and abetting the church and their crimes? They're committing treason. They are a terrorist organization working with our enemies to destroy America. The little black book that I did the video on ties the church directly with this secret combination to destroy America. And they're a criminal organization. What will it take? There are people who want freedom from the church, but have to hide and hope the church doesn't find them. There are potentially 14 million of you hiding. Report them as a whistleblower.